Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And I have one of my dearest friends on the show today. She is a repeat customer because I love her so much, and she's one of my favorite transformational leaders. Her name is Natalie Ledwell. I'm sure many of you have recognized her from Mind Movies or a lot of her different shows that she's done, like the Inspiration Show or Wake Up TV. But Natalie is an Aussie, and you'll hear it from her beautiful accent, which I can't get enough of. But she is an authentic, internationally well-known motivational speaker, best-selling author, law of attraction teacher, and she's the co-founder of what I mentioned, a revolutionary personal development company called Mind Movies, where she helps create the movies of the mind and connect it with music and affirmations, and really getting us using that mental faculty to be able to create really what that mind movie is in our heads, but we get to create it and then really create an actual mind movie with it. It's amazing. And so Natalie is an incredible teacher. She's doing really amazing things with kids in schools and helping people become more and more successful in their daily lives. So I am super excited to connect with you in this way, Nat.
Hey, and I'm looking very summery right now. I'm currently in a hotel room in Cancun. I'm at a Dr. Joe Dispenza event. So at these events, I actually help like hundreds of people make their personal mind movies, which is like a depiction of the life they want to create. So when you combine that with what Dr. Joe is teaching them on how to manifest while they're connected to the unified field, it's quite a powerful formula. It's awesome.
Awesome. I know you do a lot of that work with Joe, and it's really cool that you're doing that and helping people in that way. So, but I want to talk to you about success. So you are one of the well-known transformational leaders. You and I are in Transformational Leadership Council together. Tell us how you got to where you are right now by applying what the universal law of attraction, and where you came from and where you are now.
Yeah. Well, I do come from very humble beginnings. I actually grew up, I'm one of 8 kids. I'm from a really big family, and I grew up in a country town in Australia. And now I get to live in the US and have this outrageously successful business where I'm actually, fulfilling my purpose, especially with a lot of the stuff that we're doing with children now. And so from those humble beginnings to, where I am now, I think I first got introduced to personal development material when I was 21. My boss at the time handed me a set of cassettes, showing my age, and from Tracy, and said, I really think you're going to get some benefit out of this. And of course, he created a monster. I'm like, oh my God, because you know what it's like when you first get introduced to that material. You just think everyone needs to know it. Mm-hmm. So back then, in Australia, as soon as all the big name speakers had come out, I'd go and see them. Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Tom Hopkins, all those guys. And so I was, in this really positive environment and applying everything I learned and how to set goals and, make a plan and all those kind of things. And then I met my husband, Glenn, and I left the fitness industry, with the industry I was working in, to then own a nightclub with
kind of went the opposite way in that.
Well, exactly. I was like, okay, what am I doing here? This is, but what was really interesting is how I realized that, the service industry of fitness and the service industry of a nightclub are very similar. And once I was able to make that correlation, all the business skills that I had earned on somebody else's business, I was able to apply to my own in a very successful way. And so, my 30s then were really what I call my beige years. Beige because it's, just a nothing color. But it was like we were just going through the motions. We, Glenn and I had a myriad of different companies and different businesses, from bathroom advertising to property development to coffee franchises to health food, you name it, we had to go at it. But what was really interesting is that I got to a point like 2006 where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm looking at all of my bills and I'm looking at my bank balance and going, okay, I'm missing some vital piece of information here, because how can we have 4 businesses, which we had at the time, running concurrently, and we're still struggling financially? This makes no sense to me. And I thought I was doing everything right from everything that I had learned from all those motivational speakers. And then a friend of mine suggested that I watch The Secret. And Glenn and I sat down. It was a Saturday afternoon. We put this DVD in, and both of us are looking at each other going, this is the missing piece. And so when we started to apply what we had learnt from that movie, we had like this quantum leap in, our success. And I think my biggest takeaway, and it's something that I talk a lot about now, is this whole surrender piece when it comes to manifesting. So, I thought I had to know the plan, had to know all the steps. And if I couldn't see how it was going to happen, I didn't believe it could happen. And I know now, as one of the biggest quantum leaps that we made is when we surrender into knowing that we don't know how it's going to show up. We don't know what it's going to look like when it does. We've got to know that everything's happening in divine timing. Everything is perfect exactly the way it is. And everything is happening for us, not to us. Now, when you can surrender and really be comfortable in that, this is when you open yourself up for the mystical surprises that the universe has that can throw our way. It means that we're always resonating at a high frequency, because when we have challenges that come along, they don't derail us. They're just like, oh, okay, well, if everything's perfect, what am I supposed to learn about this? What is this teaching me? What is this piece of information that I need to garner from this particular situation so I can become the person I need to be to step into this success? So we never get derailed. We just keep moving forward. So when you're always resonating at that higher frequency, whatever's a vibrational match to that frequency is then attracted back to you. So you feel like you're in flow. You feel like everything is in ease and grace,
Absolutely. See, I call that law of detachment, and it's like a way of applying law of attraction, but that's one of the laws I talk about is that's really law of attraction, or law of detachment is just really letting go and understanding and having that complete faith that universe has got your back, Jack. The universe knows what you want. You've put it out there. You're taking the action that you want to take, or that you're guided to take, moving towards your goals. But the who, the where, the what, the how, all that stuff is you're surrendering to it and being in a place of faith, really being in a place of trust.
And the thing is, it's easy for us to say this now, but I know as a recovering control freak that, when you're starting out in this process, it's, you go, well, wait a minute, that's too much of it. That's too big a leap for me to get to. Yes. And so for me, and one of the biggest things that I love to do, and I used to call it my stupid human trick, but now I call it my special human gift, is that I can look at the success that I was able to create and then be able to break it down into duplicatable and actionable steps that anyone can, do. So I have like a full success formula. Like when we look at mind movies, like my movie is a visualization tool, but it's just part of the process. It's just one step. And there's this whole process that you go through that is a complete success formula. And once you know it and you can consistently apply it, then you are positively influencing the outcomes in your life for the rest of your life, when you get to know what this formula is.
Well, let's talk about that because, you obviously you're a perfect example of someone that has applied this information, has created the life that you love and in all aspects of your life. And now you teach this information. Is this something that you do on a consistent basis? Is this something that you're doing morning, noon, and night? Like what do you do to apply? And what are those kind of daily success habits that you do for yourself?
Yeah. Well, having a morning foundation and daily practice for me is paramount, because when I can start my day the right way every day, then I don't have to think about anything. Then I'm just by default in a higher frequency. And the thing is, when you make a daily practice like this, then it means that it's like brushing your teeth. I would never leave the house not brushing my teeth. Well, I would never take Bella out and not drop into my gratefuls. Like I would not exercise in the morning and be listening to an audiobook at the same time.
Bella's her dog, by the way. Yeah. Take a Bella out for her gratefuls.
Yeah, take my little puppy out for a walk. So for me, my morning foundation is definitely meditation, or some kind of connection. Sometimes I find if I how you wake up sometimes at 4 a.m. in the morning and you're getting all these downloads. When that happens for me, I will do a meditation at that time because I've got time to do it. But my thing is mainly about connection. So, and I know scientifically that as we're waking up in the morning and as we're going to sleep, our brains go into theta brainwave activity. Now, theta is the same frequency, and when we're in theta, we are coherent with the unified field, which means we're connected to the unified field or to the greater consciousness. So in the mornings, I've already thought about what I'm going to ask the night before. My eyes are still closed, my brain's just kicking in, and then I go into what's my question for today? While I have this connection to source. And the key is that, asking the question's one thing, but staying quiet long enough to hear the answer is the key.
Yes. And asking the questions you want the answer to, right? Because
Yes.
there's some people that go, why do I keep having this suffering in my life? Well, you don't want to know the answer to that question. So it's the question, the quality of the questions that you ask.
Absolutely.
And the direction in the questions of what you want to ask so that you want to receive that information.
Yeah. So what you want to do is focus on what it is that you actually do want. So, for me, be like, well, what's the first step I'm going to take today? How am I moving through this challenge? What is the solution to this? And then really just laying there and waiting for that insight to come in. And the thing is, the more often you do that and make a habit of that, the easier for that inspiration to come through. And the other key to this is taking action on the inspiration that does come through, because that also opens up that channel, because you are trusting that the insight and the inspiration that's coming through is what you need to take action on. So even if you start to take action in the direction, even though that might not be the way that you end up going, it's going to lead you to the way. The thing is, you've got to start to take action and trust and surrender to the inspiration that's coming through. I definitely have a really healthy breakfast. I'm exercising. I'm listening to some kind of, educational material. And so once I start my day with this foundation, look out. It's
fire.
Yeah.
So anything else that you do you take a break during the day? Do you do something before you go to bed? What is I know you're busy, you're a very productive person. You've got a lot of projects in the works. So do you take breaks during the day, or do you just bust all the way through and then do something at the end of the day? What does that look like for you usually?
No, I like to take a break every 90 minutes just to, reset. And I have a list on the window behind my computer, which is a list of what I call my feel-good activities. So these are anything that's going to get me into a high vibration, especially if I'm a little stressed or I'm a little, angsty about whatever's going on. Now, some of these things take 5 minutes. Some of them, maybe going for a drive in the car. It could be just playing a song that's going to get me pumped. Whatever it is that's going to change my frequency in that moment. I call them daily success rituals. So anything that makes you feel good. But it's always a great idea to have them already written out in a list, so you can look at the list and go, that's what I feel like doing right now, and it makes it something that's positive. Even if it's just a walking outside, but having a mindful walk, so as I'm walking, I'm acutely aware of everything that's going on around me, and just really appreciating everything, appreciating, the aromas that I'm smelling, appreciating, the sunshine hitting the water. I live on the marina, appreciating how warm that sun is on my skin, anything like that, and just dropping mindfully into that moment. It really helps to expand, the gratitude that I feel, and often when I talk about gratitude, we could easily write down 5 things every day we're grateful for. But if you're going through the motions, you completely have forgotten the point of that exercise. You've missed the point. It's all about marinating in the emotion of immense gratitude, because remember, our emotions is the frequency that we're sending out into the quantum field.
It's all energy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like affirmations, right? I am abundant. It's like, I am abundant, right? It's like invoking that energy. It's so different. You could say abundant meditations. I'm abundant. I'm abundant. It's like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for this sun. If you're not evoking that energy within you, it doesn't move anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's all about the emotion that we're feeling, and I talk about when we're visualizing as well, because, Mind Movies in essence is a visualization tool. So when you're visualizing, what's more important than what you see is what you're feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
And people are going, well, what, am I supposed to just feel joy? And I'm like, no, you're supposed to feel what you're going to feel when you get there. You know, I have, seeing I'm at a Dr. Joe event, I have a great story of a woman in Australia who, you know, because Dr. Joe teaches us that when we're visualizing, we want to dimensionalize this visualization. So rather than seeing ourselves as a character in a movie, we want to actually be in it and invoking all of our senses. So this woman, her name was Sue. Her and her husband were struggling financially. And so she's like, honey, don't worry about it. I'm off to Dr. Joe. We'll figure it out. So, you know, she goes off to the thing. So he's like, okay, I want you to choose one scene from your mind movie and dimensionalize it in your meditation. So she knows exactly where she's going. She's in a living room. She can feel the pen in her hand. She's signing the contract. She can smell the real estate agent's aftershave. She can feel the bubbles of the champagne on her nose. She can taste the champagne. She is so in this. And what she's feeling is relief. She's feeling relief because she knows that this is going to alleviate all of their financial issues. And so when she went back to her hotel room that night, she had a text from her husband. She called him. He goes, you're not going to believe this, but we just got an offer on the house. He goes, it's not what we want, but I think we should take it. She goes, no, don't do anything. Next day, she goes back in, and then a week later, they got an offer for what they wanted. You know, so as many senses as you can bring in, and then just think about what it is that you're going to feel when you're actually there.
That's so key, because we postpone our emotions thinking that when I get this thing, then I'll feel that way. And we have to feel that way in order to get this thing. Otherwise, we're coming from lack. We're coming from not being fulfilled, and we keep pushing it away thinking that, oh, maybe it's this amount of money. Nope. Not that amount of money. Maybe it's this amount of money. Nope. Well, maybe if I get married and have kids, well, maybe I need another kid. And it's always like, you know, that fulfillment is always pushed away unless you're actually feeling it. So I love that you said that.
And I actually have a personal experience of this as well. That's only happened earlier this week. So I'm doing a renovation right now on a condo, and I got a couple of very big unexpected invoices from my contractors, which sent me into a tailspin, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't have it. What am I going to do? Like, you know, and I'm freaking out. And I could feel myself feeling sick. And I'm like, what am I going to do about this? And I'm like, okay, what do you know? So here's the thing. We can use, like, these principles are great and dandy when everything's fine, but it's when the proverbial hits the fan that we really want to drop into these particular, you know, techniques.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay. So I took 3 really deep breaths. When you do that, it actually really calms down the parasympathetic nervous system. So it gets me back to a place of center. So now I'm in a place where I can choose what I'm going to think and what I'm going to do. I'm like, okay. So I just go into a visualization and I see myself in this condo. I see myself having dinner parties and feeling what it's going to be like, and how content and how accomplished and how proud I am. I mean, this is the first place I've owned on my own, and I'm 50 years old. So, you know, and getting into those emotions of what it's going to like to be there. And then from that place, I actually came up with 2 ideas that was able to implement and completely alleviate all of the situation around the financial stress I had at that time. So
it's amazing how quick the solutions can come in when you're looking for the solutions and you're calming yourself down and not getting stirred up in what the problem is.
Yeah, well, when you're in the lower frequency of the problem, you can never see the solution. You can't see it from there. No insight comes in from there. You have to get into this higher elevation. You have to get in this elevated emotion to be able to see any kind of solution to your challenges.
Absolutely. And so I want to just point out before we wrap up, Natalie, that one of the things that you do in your life is that, you know, there's a lot of people that may be a student and they learn these different tools, but you're applying them in all aspects of your life. You're applying them before you need them by doing your rituals in the morning. You're applying them, taking a break. That was a great suggestion. I would recommend to everybody, write down some of the things that you know, that just, whether it's buying yourself flowers and smelling a lily, or it's going to get a massage, or pumping up some of your favorite tunes, or taking your dog for a walk, or whatever it is, write out those things so that when you feel a dip in energy, or you don't, you feel like you just want to elevate your energy, you can look at those things and have your energy be kicked up, your frequency. But my point is that you do things to make sure that you're always in a state of feeling good, or that if you're not, you have those tools at your side and you use them. I mean, what's the point of having a hammer if you don't use it, right? So you have all these tools, and that's the action. Because sometimes people think, oh, action, I got to go do this thing. And the action sometimes is stopping and taking 3 breaths so that you can calm yourself down, so that you can get into a different frequency of finding the solution and staying stuck in the problem. That's a simple action, and those are tools that you can use. And Nat, that's what I love about you so much, is that you really are a teacher that walks your talk. And we know a lot of people in this industry, and I will say that you are one of the most authentic people that I know, and looking always to improve yourself, expand yourself, grow yourself. You and I have that in common, that it's a quest, it's a thirst, and it's not coming from like, I'm still not enough, I got to do more, but it's like, because it feels so good in the expansion of it. And I love that you're my soul sister in this journey.
I know. And that's the thing. It's like, and you and I both know, because we do a lot of things together, how, you know, even as a teacher, like, you know, we're always expanding, we're always learning. You know, I had someone, I have my Ultimate Success Masterclass program, and I do a live call with that every week. And I had a lady, she's like, my intention is to get rid of all my limiting beliefs in 12 weeks. So I went, well, I don't think that's going to happen.
That sounds like a nice idea.
I'm like, you know, I go, look, you know, I said, I'm still uncovering, you know, limiting beliefs, because different situations will bring that up. I said, but what I can tell you is that you will know what they are as they arise, and you will know how to release them. And so you don't stay stuck and immobilized and sabotaged by them. You actually know how to move through that. So, you know, you've got that tool for life.
Exactly. Setting up expectations. I love that. So I know that you have a gift. You're going to give everybody a free ebook. So we're going to put a link underneath the video. So I'd love for you to share what the ebook is.
Yeah. So this is my best-selling book. It's called Never in Your Wildest Dreams. And this is actually transformational fiction. And when I'm talking about this formula of what to do and how to, you know, to be able to create any kind of outcome you want in your life, this is what's depicted in this book. So it is fiction, although there is a lot of my personal experience in there, and you will probably see. And you can definitely tell it's written by me, because you can actually hear the Australian accent as you read it. But what I did, because I'm such a how-to girl, and I'm, you know, like the structure, I got the insight after watching a HBO show on how to, you know, they do the inside the episode. Well, I did this inside the chapter video. So it happened at the end of each of the chapters. So what you do is you click on the little link, and it goes through a video where I'm explaining what the lesson is, you know, how it's played out in that particular scenario, and how to implement it, and then giving you tools for you to be able to embody and actually make this part of your routine. So it is the full success formula there. It's my gift to your community. I'd love to share it with everyone.
Thank you for your generosity. And I love that you made a fiction/nonfiction book all in one. Yeah. Right. It's like that's brilliant to be able to bring both of them together, so that it really is a self-help how-to, but you're enjoying a story at the same time. And your character is really amazing. You could just really, I know I really identified with her as well. And so it's fun to go on a journey and have a story that's not just a self-help book of, you know, what to do, but to have that story and then really go, hey, I resonate with that, and then be able to have the tools that are taught in that. So thank you for giving that to everybody. I know that's a very beautiful project that you have, a big baby of your own. So for you to give everybody that for free and as a gift, that's very generous. So thank you.
Absolutely. I know I get lots of emails going, you wrote this about me. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I think a lot of us go through the same thing. Writing fiction gave me poetic license to really, you know, in a story, show you how these particular scenarios, you know, play out in our lives. And it was fun. It was fun to do. So I'm very, you know, very happy to be sharing with everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your friendship. I just adore you. I appreciate the light that you are in the world. I know everybody that loves you just really gets so much from being your friend and from how awesome you are. And I'm just truly blessed to have you in my life, Natalie. So, yeah, I love you too. Thank you, sweetie. And for all of you, I would love to know, what are you taking away? There were so many pieces and nuggets of information that Natalie shared. I would love to know, what is that thing you're taking away, and what are you going to implement? Whether it's writing down those things that you know absolutely raise your vibration, to taking 3 breaths when you need to, when something feels stressed. What are you taking away from this conversation? Let's continue the conversation. So leave me a comment. Thank you so much for being in my community. I appreciate you, and have an amazing week, everybody. Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Leave me a comment below, and be sure to share and tag your friends. And be sure to check out my other videos here and on this site.